Fallout Season 2 Episode 7 doesn't just reveal Steph Harper's past, it detonates the story. Fallout has been quietly building since the beginning of the season. Up until now, Steph has been framed as cold, manipulative, and dangerous. A woman who rose too fast, knew too much, and stayed too silent. The obvious assumption was simple: she's the villain. Episode 7 makes that assumption uncomfortable, and then quietly dares you to rethink it. But this isn't a redemption story, and that's the mistake most people will make. This episode isn't trying to convince you that Steph is good. It's showing you something far more unsettling. Steph is not driven by ideology, loyalty, or belief. She is driven by survival.
You have to hurt people. God won't judge you.
And in Fallout, survival-focused characters are often more dangerous than true believers. Before we break down what this means for Vaults 32 and 33, it's important to understand exactly what Episode 7 confirms, and what it deliberately does not. Steph Harper was not born into the Vault system. She was not raised on Vault-Tec optimism, nor indoctrinated into Bud Askin's worldview. She is Canadian. And in the Fallout universe, that single fact carries a weight that most viewers won't immediately grasp unless they understand pre-war history. Before the Great War, the United States invaded Canada, not diplomatically, not defensively. Brutally. Canada was annexed, its citizens enslaved, and internment camps were established under American control. Fallout has always portrayed pre-war America as authoritarian and imperialistic, but Episode 7 doesn't imply this, it confirms it. Steph grew up inside one of those camps. That alone reframes everything about her character. Steph's childhood was defined by dehumanization, by guards who didn't see her as a person, by a system that justified cruelty as patriotism. And when she escaped that camp with her mother, the world didn't suddenly become safer, it became a running hunt. As they crossed the border, Steph's mother was mortally wounded, and with her final breath, she gave Steph advice that sounds horrifying until you understand it. Don't think of them as human beings. Think of them as Americans.
Don't think of them as human beings. Think of them as Americans.
That line is not meant to be noble. It's not meant to be inspirational. It's a survival instruction. Dehumanize them before they dehumanize you, because empathy in that moment would have been fatal. This is the psychological foundation of Steph Harper. From that point forward, Steph doesn't live by rules, morality, or ideals. She lives by outcomes. Survival first. Control second. Everything else is optional. This is where many viewers and many commentators get it wrong. They assume Steph later became a Vault-Tec believer, that she admired Bud Askins, that she shared Hank MacLean's vision. She didn't. Steph never believed in Vault-Tec. She used it. Vault-Tec represented structure, access, and long-term security. To Steph, it wasn't a philosophy. It was camouflage. A way to disappear into power rather than hide from it. Her path into Vault-Tec wasn't accidental or earned through loyalty. Episode 7 confirms that she deliberately sought out Cooper Howard in Las Vegas to gain access. She leveraged people. She made herself useful. She positioned herself exactly where she needed to be. That's not belief. That's infiltration. This also explains her relationship with Hank MacLean. Steph and Hank were not just co-workers or romantic partners orbiting the same ideology. They were collaborators. Whatever Hank was planning before the bombs fell, Steph was aware of it. And whatever was inside Hank's secret box in Vault 33, Steph knew it mattered. This is why she wanted it so badly, not because she trusted Hank, but because she understood leverage. Now let's address the turning point of Episode 7, Steph's rise to Overseer of Vault 32. After a violent internal conflict wipes out much of the Vault's leadership, Steph is elevated quickly, and from the moment she takes control, her leadership style is unmistakable. She doesn't bond with residents. She doesn't reassure. She doesn't over-explain. She centralizes authority and limits access. This is not the behavior of someone trying to inspire loyalty. It's the behavior of someone trying to reduce unpredictability. Steph governs Vault 32 like a hostile environment, not a community. And here's the critical correction. This does not mean she is hesitant to kill. It means she kills strategically. One of the biggest misreadings of Episode 7 is the assumption that Steph's deal to share water with Vault 33 signals mercy. It doesn't. In Fallout, Water is never charity. Water is leverage. Steph agreeing to share water tells us three things. First, she currently benefits from Vault 33's survival. Second, she wants influence beyond Vault 32. Third, she is patient. Survivalists don't avoid mass death because it's wrong. They avoid it until it becomes useful. If Steph truly wanted Vault 33 destroyed immediately, she wouldn't negotiate. She would ration, isolate, and wait. The fact that she chooses cooperation now doesn't remove the threat. It delays it. This brings us to Woody. Woody's disappearance is not a side mystery. It's a structural warning. He made the oldest mistake in Fallout storytelling, confronting a dangerous person alone, and now he's gone. Chet's discovery of Woody's glasses in the garbage disposal is designed to make the audience jump to the conclusion that Steph killed him. But Fallout doesn't operate on simple answers. If Woody were merely dead, the show wouldn't obscure it this carefully. What matters is not whether Steph killed Woody, but whether killing him would actually benefit her. And that's where things get interesting. Woody knew something. He confronted Steph because he believed she was hiding something operational, not just personal. If Woody is dead, it means whatever he knew posed an immediate threat. If he's alive, it means he still has value, as leverage, as a controlled variable, or as part of a larger experiment. Either way, his disappearance is not emotional, it's functional. Chet understands this instinctively. Instead of confronting Steph privately, he waits. He chooses witnesses. He exposes her during their wedding. This isn't bravery, it's survival intelligence. And Steph's response in that moment is telling. She doesn't execute him. She doesn't panic. She doesn't deny everything. She absorbs the damage. That restraint isn't morality, it's calculation. Killing Chet publicly would destabilize Vault 32. It would cost her control. And control, not revenge, is her priority. This is where the audience needs to stop asking whether Steph is a villain and start asking what kind of threat she represents. Steph is not a zealot like Hank. She is not an ideologue like Vault-Tec. She is not driven by belief. She is driven by outcomes, and outcome-driven characters are the most dangerous in Fallout because they adapt. Even her baby's presence outside the Overseer's office matters. Fallout does not include children casually. That child represents continuity. Legacy. A future Steph intends to survive into. This is not someone planning a scorched earth finale. This is someone planning longevity. But longevity doesn't mean kindness. Steph's worldview was forged in a system that rewarded cruelty and punished trust. Understanding her does not make her safe. It makes her predictable. And prediction is exactly what the Vaults lack right now. Finally, we need to address the Vault Dwellers' reaction to Steph being Canadian. The disgust, the fear, the hostility. That reaction is not logical. It's inherited. Vault-Tec propaganda didn't just erase history, it replaced it. The Vault residents hate Canadians not because of experience, but because they were taught to. Because pre-war America needed enemies. And that hatred survived the apocalypse. Steph escaped an internment camp, only to find herself trapped inside another lie. This time as the villain everyone expects her to be. So is Steph Harper the villain Fallout wants you to hate? Not exactly. She is something worse. She is what happens when someone grows up seeing exactly how brutal civilization can be and decides never to be powerless again. As Fallout Season 2 heads toward its finale, the real question isn't whether Steph will destroy Vaults 32 or 33. The real question is whether those vaults can survive someone who sees the world as it truly is, not as Vault-Tec pretended it should be. Because if Steph wins, the vaults might survive, but they won't be innocent. And in Fallout, that may be the highest price of all.